lifestyle, leisure and business radio. On your lifestyle, leisure and business radio. Feel your lifestyle, leisure and business radio. Feel your lifestyle, leisure and business radio. Warrior lifestyle, leisure and business radio. Warrior lifestyle, leisure and business radio. ZTAC onto 10119 FM, hosted by Delphi from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. ZTAC onto 10119 FM, hosted by Delphi from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. On your lifestyle, leisure and business radio. Yeah. ZTAC onto 10119 FM, hosted by Delphi from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. ZTAC onto 10119 FM, hosted by Delphi from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. On your lifestyle.
Hey, welcome back to the show. Today is another Wednesday and we are live on Z101.9 FM. My name once again is Delphi and I'm going to take you through the next hour talking technology today. And today's technology segment is going to be an interesting one. If you're always looking for a loan online, I have my brother here to talk that with us today. So don't go anywhere, do not change the dial, just keep your dial locked in right here on Z101.9 FM. I want you to do something for me right now. If you're not following us on social media, please try and do so for me real quick by going online on Instagram, Facebook and X at ZFMGH, and on TikTok is Z Multimedia or ZFMGH, and on YouTube is ZTV. Our website, for those of you who do not have digital, those of you who want to go the digital way, you can listen to us live at www.zmultimedia.com. And you can also read news articles from us on there. There's lots of trending news going on the website. So please make sure to check it out and check us out as well. Do not change your dial. We're going for a quick music break. This is a new one from Nuche and Nuche. I hope I mentioned it correctly. It's a banger. I really enjoy it. So enjoy it. And when we come back, we'll dive right into the tech news of the week. You can search for him on Spotify and then get more from him as well if you enjoy that tune. Once again, I'm Delpy, and this is the Z Tech Show live here at Z101.9 FM. And I said we're having an interesting conversation today, but we have to go through the Z Tech news of the week. So we'll start with one from MTN and Huawei as they've completed the world's first large-scale alpha antenna deployment in Ghana. And this is going to help advanced AI-driven networks. What this basically means is that as they've successfully completed the world's first large-scale deployment of the alpha antenna in Ghana, this milestone will represent a substantial enhancement in network performance with a transition to intelligent and AI-driven innovation, establishing a new benchmark for the evolution towards autonomous driving networks in Africa and the global ecosystem in general. If you've noticed, MTN has been very weird lately. It's been on and off, So I'm hoping that this is one of the reasons why that is happening. And in the near future, we should see a boost in the network service connection for MTN Ghana and us, hopefully, because that network has stressed me out. There's just 2 network service providers, 3 actually. The third one, I don't even want to talk about it, but there's just like 3 network service providers in this country, and then all of them are doing anyhow in this country. So I'm hoping that this particular infrastructure changes things for us in the near future. The last and final story is about the Galaxy Unpacked events that will be happening next week, 25th February to be specific. Hey, February round, we're almost at 25th already. This year is moving really fast. Samsung is announcing their brand new devices. So for those of you who have planned to purchase a Samsung device, you might want to hold your horses a little bit and wait until the other or the brand new Galaxy devices, which include the S26, S26 Ultra, and S26 Plus. I don't know what they look like, but I know for sure that they're going to be a banger. So if you've saved up for a Samsung device, you'd want to hold your horses a little bit until these devices are announced on the 25th of September. 25th of February 2026. Yes. So that's something. Music break for some of my piano. When we come back, we'll dive into the segment today with my own brother. People don't believe it, but it's my brother. And we're going to have a beautiful conversation where we talk about loan apps, what it involves. For those of you who use loan apps a lot, I've advised that there are few scams out there. There are few loan apps out there that are more treating people, blackmailing people, and saying that you are owing this, or you are sending your pictures to your family members or your contacts and pretending. I've had a friend have that experience before, so it's a bit sketchy. But today we have my cousin here to talk about it, and we'll dive right into it and see how we can navigate the loan app systems in the country at the moment. So do not change your dial. When we come back from the music break, we'll dive right into the conversation. Stay logged in. weren't here before then, this is Z101.9 FM. My name is Delphi, and this is the Z Tech Show. I have here with me Mr. John Pebby Intifo, and he is a product architect for credit and infrastructure. He works somewhere else, but he doesn't want to add that, so we'll try and eliminate that for now. However, we are here to talk about instant loan apps, the risks and smarter alternatives for people to look into, especially in this modern day and time. Things are hard, so people tend to want to go into getting loans and stuff. But where do you look at, and which is a guarantee that they are not going to stifle you or extort more than what you came for from them? So we're going to have that conversation. And in doing that, I would really appreciate if you can follow us on social media if you haven't. We're currently live on Facebook, so make sure to check us out there at ZFMGH. On YouTube is ZTV, and on TikTok is ZFM or Z Multimedia. Our website is www.zmultimedia.com. Once the conversation is going on, you could share your thoughts. If you have questions, you can send us a WhatsApp message on 0544 321 019. 0544 321 019. So, John, welcome, and thank you for being a part of this.
Thank you, DLP. Happy to be here. I must say, you're actually one of the very few people to actually get my middle name right. Everyone is calling me Pabby, and you call me Pebby. Like, I actually don't.
I'm your brother.
Music to my ear. So it's actually very nice having someone actually mention my name the way it's supposed to be pronounced.
Family is always family.
Yeah, Charlie. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Tell us a quick overview of what you do, who you are, and I don't want to introduce you.
Sure, that's fine. So my name is Pabby, John Pabby. Savvy Pabby on Twitter. Savvy because pretty much in the finance space, you find me talking about fintech, and I pretty much know a lot in the space. I'm a product architect when it comes to fintech, but I pretty much specialize in lending and the infrastructure. Pretty much all that means is that I build systems that allow people to be able to access the money they need when they need it, and pretty much be able to pay back in time. So speed and convenience is what I focus on for the systems that I build.
I'm guessing then the conversation we're going to have is going to be very intense, since you're like more into the building systems for money.
It should be fun. So I'm pretty much involved from the end to end, from the ideation part to the end. Pretty much we do some brainstorming and design thinking before you see these loan apps coming out, or these financial products that allow you to access these loans come out.
Beautiful. So we're talking about loan apps today.
Yes.
I know there's a plethora of them on the App Store. People don't even do a deep research about. I have a friend who had a bad experience, like I stated earlier, but we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
We're going to start very simple. What exactly are instant loan apps? What are they? Like, if we say an instant loan app, what is it, and how do they work in general?
So pretty much instant loan apps would be simple financial tools that provide you speed and convenience by providing you access to emergency funds when you need it. It doesn't necessarily have to be an app. You'd find some using USSD. So you'd find people dialing, or any user dial *123#, and based on their data usage, airtime usage, how much they borrow, or whether they actually owe anybody, the system can tell you that, oh, you qualify for 1,000 CDs. They are pretty much scored. Your data is collected, certain data points are scored, and then the system tells you what you qualify for. If you happen to use a mobile app or an instant loan app, pretty much based on the kind of scoring that they use, they'll actually be able to gather some data points and also tell you what you qualify for. So pretty much in minutes or in seconds, you're able to see the maximum loan amounts that you qualify for, and then you can decide whether or not you'd want to max out what you qualify for as a loan.
Beautiful. So from where you sit,
like
as somebody in fintech, do you think it's a popular trend now? Is it popular?
It is. You can check the data from one of the biggest telcos currently states. I don't want to say which particular telco, but I'm very sure Ghanaians know that a lot of Ghanaians are pretty much accessing loans through these telcos. Telco loans are very big in the country right now.
Okay.
Only challenge is people are not able to access the maximum amount they want, or big amounts, because people have dreams, people have projects that they want to work on. So the telco loans are pretty much helping them with emergencies that they have. And I'm saying that there are actually other ways or other places people can access bigger amounts, lower interest. I'm not saying do not get telco loans. I'm just saying it's good to know that there are other options for you to actually try out.
I want to come to the other options, but before that, why do you think it's that popular?
It's pretty much speed and convenience.
You don't have to walk,
Your
join a queue.
Ghanaians don't like going to branches, having to talk to a customer care executive, filling forms. Ghanaians do not like filling forms. They pretty much just want to know, how much can I get? How much will I be paying every month? For how long? They don't want you to bore them with all those details, especially some Ghanaians always complain that I have a friend who has banked with a certain retail bank for a long time. And it's like, Pabi, I do not understand why I'm with this bank for 10 years and I need a loan. They know I'm fully employed. And there's a back and forth on how much I can access. They are expecting that because they are with the bank for a certain period, the bank can easily tell them, oh, you qualify for this. But you'd find that depending on the kind of job you do, sometimes the bank may drag their feet and may not be so willing to give you the amount that you need. Thankfully, that is changing a little bit right now because the reference rate has been dropping. So the lending space is becoming a little more interesting this particular year.
Talking about how much, I said I've never taken a loan from
Interested.
the app, the people you mentioned.
Yes.
So I decided to try because now as a
Guys, I think you should rate me because I'll be able to convince him to actually take a loan after this session.
So I wanted to check, right? The how much do I qualify for? I went to check and I only qualify for 80 cedis. No,
A telco loan?
80 cedis, the bedding. For what I need that one for is
Okay.
it's just small. So I want to know what are some of the factors that goes into some of these platforms to determine, because I use their service a lot. That's like my main platform for money transfer, like receiving money, sending money, doing transactions, even paying for things online, right? So I'm curious, why did I qualify for? Is it because I've never taken a loan from them before, or there are other factors that go into picking people to say that yes, we would give you? Because I know a friend who had a huge amount. I think it was like 3,000 or 4,000 cedis for his loan.
Okay.
He received. So what goes into giving the person the amount they deserve?
Okay. So there are lots of data points. Pretty much the scoring is done by a data scoring agency or a data scoring platform. There are a number of them in the country. So depending on which app you're using, they might have integrated with a particular data scoring platform. Then they can score you. The data points I'll be mentioning here will not be exhaustive.
No problem.
Because it's a tall list.
Yeah.
But pretty much they'll be looking at your mobile money usage. How much are you sending on a daily or weekly basis? What's the maximum amount you're sending? Do you borrow money? Do you borrow airtime? Do you currently owe money? Do you pay on time?
Yeah.
All that. Do you pay before time? So they try to minimize risk because they do not know you. They only have data on you.
Right.
Are you actually the person you say you are? Is your mobile money linked to your national ID card, for example?
Exactly.
There are a number of points that they would collect on you to give them confidence that, oh, we can lend DLP 4,000 cedis instead of 80 cedis. So some people actually game the system, right? By deciding to send large amounts of money. So for example, if you realize that your average Momo transaction or airtime is 10 cedis and your Momo transaction is 100 cedis, you should encourage yourself to be sending higher amounts. That should open you into a bigger tier so that you can access a bigger loan amount. However, you may realize that may not be sustainable because on an average, you do not even send 1,000 cedis. So that may not be sustainable. They just want to see whether you have enough inflows and outflows to give them comfort that you'll be able to pay the amount of money you say you need.
Beautiful. I have a lot of questions, but let's tackle this one next. What are some of the risks, like structural risks, especially when it comes to short-term unsecured lending?
Okay. So in Ghana, there's a trend that I am realizing. Because people want speed and convenience and have emergencies, they do not really check the interest rates that these loan apps are giving out. Some of the rates are crazy. But because they have emergencies, they take these loans. If you are not too careful, you may find that you find yourself in a cycle of debt. I have friends that borrow money to pay back these telco loans and take the loans again. It's something that's actually happening in the country. It will be great if you check what the interest on this loan is and whether you can actually afford it. You do not need to take 4,000 cedis as a loan on your mobile app, because it is saying the maximum you can take is 4,000. There's nothing wrong with you taking 1,500 cedis because that's what you can afford. Affordability would reduce your risk so that you don't fall into a cycle of debt.
Like, yeah. I also know people like that. To take the loan, go and borrow from someone else, pay and then
take a bigger loan, pay back, and then spend the difference. Wait for another 30 days, go and take another one. When that happens, you're actually not able to save or invest because you are always, every month, a chunk of your salary is just being used to pay these loans that you're taking. I'm not saying loans are bad. I'm just saying that we have to focus on responsible lending so that you can afford the amounts that you take and actually grow your income over time.
That's beautiful. How does the Ghana reference rate affect loan pricing? What even is a reference rate?
Yes, so the reference rate is set by an institutions, Ghana, between the Bank of Ghana and the Association of Bankers. It's pretty much a baseline. So a baseline or benchmark for the lending rates that the commercial banks actually refer to decide what their loan interest rate should be. Currently, it's a little over 15%. So that is the base, meaning that that's the average lending rate in the country. So you may find that some commercial banks that actually have the bandwidth can decide to actually lend at that rate. Some banks will also decide to lend at the reference rate plus a little percentage over that reference rate. So you find that some big banks will currently in Ghana will be lending at 15%, some will be lending at 16%, some 17%. So that is what helps them determine whether or not loans should be set at a certain price in the country.
So how does that affect the loan pricing?
Once the reference rate drops, loans become cheaper. You can check for the past 6 months. I'm not going into politics here, guys, but you can check for the past couple of months, the reference rate has been dropping consistently.
Okay.
News is it's going to continue to drop.
Okay.
So pretty much from where I sit, this is a good time to borrow and be a responsible borrower so that you can handle those emergencies and projects that you have. Instead of going or using an instant loan app you cannot verify, this is when you should be talking to your relationship managers at the banks. This is when, if you have a pensions trustee, you should be engaging them to find out the various financing options they have available for you.
Okay, beautiful. In all of this, we know Bank of Ghana has a hand in this, right? So what role do you think they should have in the digital lending oversight?
Yes, so I think the Bank of Ghana is creating a structure so that it's not as though they're against innovation. They had a recent directive coming out asking all digital lenders to actually formalize their operations before June 2026. You can fact check. So pretty much any digital lender will be classified as an NBFI. That's a non-bank financial institution. So they are saying that all those digital instant loan apps that you currently see on the market, especially those that are not formalized, they are giving them the opportunity to reach out to them as the senior regulator in terms of finance and straighten their things, put things in order, get a license, be classified as an NBFI. So you can actually be authorized and have a license to lend to various Ghanaians in the country. Also, as part of the directive, they are enforcing or requesting a strict transparency. So in terms of fees, if you take a loan, you actually do not know how much you're paying for. All you see is the interest. You may find that there are some 2%, 3% fees that they hide somewhere that you are not aware of.
Yeah.
Some even put in insurances and all that you may not know. So it's actually something that the Bank of Ghana is being very strict on. So I think from June 2026, you see them actually clamping more on institutions or financial institutions that actually are not licensed to lend in the country.
Yeah. Apart from these short code services that offer loans and stuff, do you have experience with apps themselves, like the loan apps?
Yes.
Not like by short code, but just the app.
Yes.
Because as somebody who is into tech, I want to be sure that these apps are not taking so much data from me. Right? Do you have any idea the amount of data that is requested by some of these apps from us once we download them?
Okay, so it's in two ways. If you happen to be using the app of your main financial institution. For example, if you bank with a particular bank, they already have some data that you've given consent to. If they should be collecting additional data, you'd find that they would have you give consent and make sure that this is in line with the data protection agency in Ghana.
Yeah.
So you can verify to confirm whether the data that's being collected is allowed or whether you've actually given consent for this data to be collected. Some would also go an extra mile for you to give consent for advertisements, for emails, for newsletters. Once you do give this consent, they actually are not allowed to give out this data. But for loans, pretty much the data they would be collecting is pretty much on affordability. They want to know how much money you bring in, what the inflows are, what the outflows are, what your source of income is, how regular it is, or how consistent it is. Then they can score you and know whether or not you're risky or how risky you are. Then they can actually decide what the maximum amount is. They may also go on to an extent to confirm how much you make on a monthly basis. That's to confirm your monthly income, who your employer is, and sometimes even to look at the reputation of your employer so that they can actually decide how much to actually give you over what period.
Oh, okay. So they're not checking my WhatsApp messages in the background.
No. that's
going through my contacts.
No, that some instant loans, the ones that are not licensed, may actually request access to your contacts just so that should you default, they can reach out to you. Find that they'll be reaching out to people on your contact list just so that they can get to you and get the money back. You find that a chunk of those lending apps are part of the ones that are unlicensed, which the Bank of Ghana is currently trying to clamp on.
Because, like I said, I had a friend who had that experience.
Interesting.
And then they started taking pictures. I don't know how they got pictures of her, but they started Photoshop. You could tell that it was easily Photoshopped of nude images, and then just cuts the head off and put her face there, and then shared it across her WhatsApp contacts.
Okay.
Just to defame her because she had defaulted.
She defaulted on the loan.
She hadn't paid yet, and then they were reaching out to every contact of hers
on her phone. So that's very likely an unlicensed loan app in the country. You'd find that a number of people from some nationalities would come into the country, set these up just so that they can gather data. Sometimes it's not even just to lend, it's to gather data. But the Bank of Ghana is actually trying to clamp on a number of these loan apps. I'm very sure from July 2026, we'll see some action from.
Is there a way I can identify an unlicensed loan app? Is it due to the permissions or something else?
Or regularly, the Bank of Ghana releases newsletters, bulletins, actually giving a list of financial institutions or loan apps you should not engage. So pretty much you'd be engaging them at your own risk.
Yeah.
They cannot say do not go for money from them. But if you have that emergency and decide to engage that particular loan app, that's your fault because that's data that you are willingly giving out. There are other financial institutions or other alternatives for you to access money from that would have lower rates and won't collect as much private data as these unlicensed apps do.
So these platforms are like honeypot schemes, eh?
Pretty much.
They have like that.
You can actually check the interest rate. The interest rates for these apps are actually on the high side. Some of them actually charge daily interest rates. So you'd find, I don't want to give rates out, but pretty much you'll be charging very high interest rates on a daily basis. Should you default, that's when it's even worse because they are now charging you penalties, increasing the amount you owe on a daily basis, and then threatening to reach out to your contacts just so that you pay the money back. So it's pretty much embarrassment. They will embarrass you if you don't pay. The unlicensed loan apps would embarrass you if you do not pay.
It's crazy. From where you sit, right? I want us to go to the credit score system because of your credit infrastructure, but we'll talk about that soon.
That's fine.
Before that, would you say that interest rates from loan apps or digital loan platforms are more higher compared to banks, or it's vice versa?
This is difficult, especially from where I sit, because I work with both. My answer would be the Ghanaian or any human being will pay for speed and convenience. I don't know if that answers your question.
So so it means that banking systems have cheaper, or let's say lower maybe it's a percentage lower.
Generally, you would find that majority of the banks would have lower interest rates than the MBFIs. But you should also know that most of the MBFIs or digital lenders, they don't know you. They don't have data on you. So how do they reduce risk? The banks, especially if it's your bank, has some data on you, and they can de-risk their portfolio with that. The digital platforms may not know you, especially when it's your first time. Like when you're saying you tried applying and you got 80 CDs. I'm guessing that was one of the very first times.
Yeah.
So you just had some very little data on you. And we're like, okay, let's try it. Let's give Delpy 80 and see where it goes. If he pays, next time we'll give him 200. But the bank pretty much has your salary information. They know how much you make monthly. They can even give you a salary advance of 5,000, depending on how much you make. So it is not the same. However, depending on who is brokering the deal for you in terms of the institution, whether it's a pensions trustee or any tech platform, they should be able to use the data that they have on you and negotiate for you to get a better deal. That's currently happening in the space.
So technically, if you look at it, it means that there are people that are borrowing from, especially this platform, and they can just throw their SIM cards away.
So that is why, for that, you'd find that the amounts are graduated to reduce the risk, because we can't have you start with 5,000 CDs as the amount.
Yeah.
We have to reduce it. I'm very sorry I keep going back to your 80 CDs.
That 80 CDs,
we'll have to start from like an 80 and graduate it, just so that if you don't pay, our MPL is not really that high.
What is MPL?
Non-performing loans. So pretty much banks look at the percentage of loans that people do not pay back as a total percentage of the total loans they gave out. And there's a certain average amount they are not supposed to go over. If not, their loan product or portfolio does not look too good.
These loan apps, do you have any idea who they are specifically targeting? Students, workers, small businesses, or it's for everyone?
They are specific loan apps for specific people. Unfortunately, I can't do name dropping here, but there are loan apps for business people in this country. There are loan apps for students. There are loans for students, actually. And I understand that.
The ones for students, I want you to mention it because they might need help.
Oh, yes. There's a students' loans trust fund. I don't know whether you've heard about it.
Yeah.
And now they've even tried to digitize their process. And it's available to you once you are in the NHSR institution. You can access it for a long period of time. And I understand that a number of students are not aware of these. These are facilities that are available to any Ghanaian student for you to actually access. And again, there are loan apps for business people. There are loan apps for salaried workers. There are salary advance products for people that work in the formal sector. There are actually interest-free loans too. But maybe another session we'll talk about. So pretty much there are different loans for different people in this country. I just find that a number of Ghanaians or a lot of Ghanaians do not have access to this information. So everyone is moving to an instant loan app that is pretty much charging very high rates.
Let's talk about the credit system.
Yes.
A year or months ago, I don't know if it's months, I think years ago, one of our former vice presidents, I think, brought that system up, that he's going to introduce that system.
Yes.
Like you being somebody in that system. I don't know if it's that system. My question is, does that system exist already? Do you think Ghanaians can adapt to that system? Is there a system we can adopt, or you think
okay, so the system exists. Different systems like that exist. So currently, if you decide to apply for any loan facility, you're actually scored because there's data on you. There's data, different data points are being collected on you depending on what you use your money for and all. So once you decide to apply for a loan, these platforms are called credit bureaus. They're digital credit bureaus. They'll integrate with them via an API. They'll be collecting information on you just so that they know how much you can qualify for as the maximum loan amount. But they are different systems. So depending on the digital lender or financial institution you'll be taking your loan from, they'll be collecting data from a particular credit bureau. they would call on information. For example, on Delphi, the platform will feed information on Delphi to this loan platform so that you can say, oh, okay, we can give Delphi 3,000 Cs. Unfortunately, a lot of Ghanaians do not use their phones enough for us to have enough data on them. For example, you find someone with 4 SIMs. They make maybe 8,000 cedis a month. 5,000 is sent through one telco. 3,000 is sent through another telco. 1,000 cedis is sent through another telco.
Yeah.
But Delphi thinks that I make 8,000, but it's only 5,000 that went through one telco. So that telco thinks that in a month you make how much? 5,000.
5,000.
They'll score you based on that 5,000.
But you make more than that.
But you make more than that. So we have to find a way, pretty much. Maybe these credit bureaus should integrate so that there's enough data on everybody. So that even if you want funds for an emergency, or even if you want to buy a house, let's talk big numbers. There's enough data on you, because this is what's being done in the West. People are actually able to get items, get mortgages based on their credit scores.
That's my question. Can do Ghanaians have credit scores?
Currently,
Yes. Yes.
from where I sit,
Yeah.
I think we will get there. However, I know that there's a lot of data or significant data that is being collected based on how you use your phone, do your mobile money transactions and all, so that you are scored. There's data on your active loans, on whether you defaulted, whether you paid on time. And there's also data on how much you make and how much you withdraw, your inflows and your outflows. But putting it all together in one place, a few of those bureaus or platforms currently have that. We would need to encourage more Ghanaians to do more transactions so that there's more data for the scoring. A lot of Ghanaians still do not do things digitally, even though they have their phones.
So it's a system that could be implemented.
Yes.
And you think Ghanaians will be successful at that?
Yes, because I find that with the kind of system that we have in Ghana, it may be easier or smarter to have a lot of items through the buy now, pay later system than rather buy in cash. It's great if you can buy in cash so that you don't owe or pay interest, but you'd find that it may be easier on your pockets if you pay smaller amounts on a monthly basis. A number of the things that I have in my house, I actually use with buy now, pay later. So I think it's something that works and it's very easy on your pockets.
I think we need that system. I saw a post on Twitter recently saying they wanted to buy a car.
Yeah.
And they were like, so there's no system in Ghana that allows you to buy a car and then pay later, because it's going to be very difficult you want to buy a Jetta T2 and it's like 400,000 CDs. You're going to have to carry a whole amount to go and buy. We're used to that system.
Yes.
And I think we're so used to that system, it even affects us when we go to the outside world to live there or to have life.
My friends are driving nice cars outside. They didn't pay with cash. They're paying installments. I think the good news is, because the reference rate is dropping, loans are becoming cheaper. A lot of financial institutions and banks will be more than happy to finance various items for you, especially if you can afford it. So I would encourage that you actually reach out to your relationship manager and then find out, tell them that you've heard that the reference rate has dropped. What is going on? If you take X amount, how much are you likely to pay? That's one option. Another option will be, if you have any tier 3 pension funds, you can actually collateralize that and get one of the lowest rates in the country, and then use that to finance this item that you would want. So pretty much people should take advantage of the dropping reference rates and get the items that they want, or handle the projects and emergencies that they currently have.
Back to the loan apps. Before
Yes.
we have this or that segment I want to do quickly before we wrap up.
Okay.
What happens in the background when somebody misses out on payments?
Yes. So even before you don't pay, it's flagged. It shows that, hold on, what's going on with this particular person? And then they'll check in on you. They may give you a grace period to actually clear the amount that you'd have to pay, after which a penalty is applied. if you are not able to pay after that penalty is applied, they may extend it further, sometimes usually a month, and then give you space to pay. If it's a bank or a financial institution, you find that your relationship manager will actually reach out to you to find out whether you want to restructure the loan facility. So guys, if you find that you've taken a facility and sometimes, unfortunately, you've had issues with the payment, you can actually reach out to your relationship manager and ask to restructure the loan that you've taken so that it's not too much of a burden. However, I would encourage that you make your loan repayments on time, because even though we don't have a credit score per se, once you try accessing another facility, it will pop up, it will show. The data is there just so that you can get a bigger amount next time. You can get a larger amount next time, or don't even delay with the processing. You'd find that for those that are in a cycle of debts, once they pay on time, they're actually able to take another one and it is bigger. So make sure that you always pay your loans on time. But if you know that you may have challenges with it, just reach out to your relationship manager and then ask if you can restructure the loan facility so that there's no bad credit score in your records.
Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Our time is almost up, so let's just do this this or that questionnaire real quick. So just pick one.
Okay, just one.
Just pick one out of the two options.
Okay.
Yeah, good. So we have save first or borrow when needed.
Save first.
Emergency fund or instant loan.
Emergency fund. If I don't have an emergency fund, emergency fund. If I already have an emergency fund, then an instant loan.
Okay, so small loan today or no loan but delayed purchase.
Small loan today.
Small loan today.
Yes.
I wanted us to talk about the fixed deposit thing. I don't know if it's okay to talk about it now. Just a brief overview of what it is for people who want to go into something like that.
Okay.
I know it could be a different conversation since
Yeah.
we're generally talking about loans now.
Yes.
But this emergency fund thing gave me a fair idea that maybe some people might be interested in knowing what fixed deposits are
Okay.
and how they can get access to things like that.
Okay. So briefly, guys, you've heard about treasury bills, you've heard about a number of financial instruments or ways to invest. Fixed deposit pretty much gives you a fixed or guaranteed, depending on where you are investing your funds, a fixed amount. So if you're investing money over a certain period, let's say you're investing money over 1 year, there may be a number of financial institutions or platforms that can say that should you invest your money with us over this period, this is the percentage we would give you. And depending on the institution, it is or may not be guaranteed. However, it will be very close. So there are currently financial products in the country that are returning close to 15-16% on average on your investments. And I think that will be one of the greatest ways to actually put money aside for the future. So this is different from other products like mutual funds because the returns may be higher or lower. It may fluctuate. But with fixed deposits, pretty much you know what you'll be getting at the end of the period. So that helps you better plan.
Beautiful, beautiful. AI credit scoring system or human credit officer?
AI credit scoring system.
Hey.
We're already going there. We're already going there.
And can I trust that?
You should. I think for these various AIs or language models, they are trained. So it's not 100% AI. There's a human being that's actually training this model and making sure that the output it's giving out is actually good. So guys, AI is pretty much garbage in, garbage out. The prompt has to be quality enough for the output to be great.
Okay, last one.
Yeah.
Would you rather they teach money skills in school or at home? It could be both, I know,
Yes.
but if you had to choose one.
Money skills in school.
In school.
Yes, because you'd find that you spend a chunk of your time in school.
Yeah.
You're actually home just doing vacation or in school.
In school.
If a number of us were taught this, I'm sure we would be in better positions and not be in a cycle of debts.
Okay. John, what are your final words for anyone? And where can we find you on social? I know you said it earlier on, but where can we find you on social media as well, if in case we want to reach out for advice or something else?
Yeah, so my last words would be that, guys, take advantage of the current environment, the reference rates are dropping. If you have a pensions trustee, speak to them. If you have a relationship manager, speak to them. Tell them you heard somewhere on Delpy's ZFM Tech Show, Z Tech Show, that the reference rate is dropping. Are there any deals for them for you when it comes to lending or finance or loans? If you have a pensions trustee, call them and then ask them, okay, how much do you have in your tier 3? You want money for a project. Can they do something for you? Take advantage of what you currently have. There are people available to help you. And my name is Pabi, Savvy Pabi. You can find me on Twitter, John Pabi Intufo on LinkedIn, and pretty much any other social media platforms.
Thank you so much for coming in, brother. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. It's been fun.
Yeah. Thank you so much. All right, so that has been it for the show today. If you did not tune in or you just tuned in, I want to remind you that our show will still be on our YouTube platform. So make sure to follow us on YouTube at ZTV, and also follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and X at ZFMGH. I want you to know that if you're going to, download a loan app, please be extremely careful. Check the requirements, check the interest rates, and do not just download any random loan app from the Google Play Store or even on the Apple iOS App Store to get your loan. There are certified ones you can go for, but I know some of you want more. So you'd end up looking for random loan apps and end up being in trouble, like my very good friend who was disgraced because of this, which was not a good thing. But I'm advising again, please be very vigilant when it comes to taking loans from loan apps. If you can, you can use the bank. If you can't, you can use short codes from the, we all know. I just do want to mention names and just so we can be safe online. It was a interesting conversation. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to make sure to follow us again and check our social media handles out, like I said earlier. Our website again is www.zmultimedia.com. I'll be back same time next week from 2 o'clock p.m. 3 to 3 o'clock p.m. on Z101.9 FM. I'm done, and do not go anywhere because the Highway 1019 is up with my brother Stakes to help you get home from your work safely. We go talk more, Charlie.